Hi, Coach Lynn's here again with another Behind the Program. This time we wanted to talk about designing a program for athletes. There's too many times where I've heard some of our athletes that don't lift with our program be like, you know what, hey, I'm going to do back and bis, chest and tris, and then legs. My comment for them is, are you a bodybuilder? Because I don't see bodybuilders really performing athletic movements. They're trying to just put on size, and you're trying to be athletes, and you're trying to move well. Same thing when it comes to the athletes that are done. Once they're done working out, whether you're a college athlete or high school athlete, if you want to go play rec league, basketball, slow pitch softball, different stuff like that, and continue to be athletic, why are you going to train like a bodybuilder? Just because that is what the norm is? No, you want to make sure you can stay athletic and stay healthy doing that. So, want to kind of show you a little bit of how I design a program. So me personally, I've been at the college level and high school level now for a total of 11 years. Have a little bit of knowledge of how to design a program and make sure we can get athletes to become better. When it comes to designing, the first things you got to look at is how many days of the week you're going to go, and ultimately your facility is going to drive your programming. So if you're going to go just 2 days a week, you're going to be hitting your meat and potatoes, your bigger lifts, and just putting in as much as you can with that. Timing also makes a factor, whether it's a half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever you have for time, it's really going to dictate also how much you can put into the program. Facility. So you got to make sure that when you're designing a program, if you have 15 athletes, okay, is there going to be any bottlenecks? Do we have enough equipment for everything? What your facility dictates how you're going to build your program, because if you don't have certain stuff, or it's going to be slowed down too much, you're going to have to switch out that exercise. So again, facility is going to drive your programming. When it comes to actually then writing the meat and potatoes of it, you want to make sure you keep that body balanced. So when you keep the body balanced, you're going to then allow you not only get better as an athlete, where keep the body balanced when an athlete is breaking it down into an upper lower body, making sure that's going to help prevent any injuries in the future. So keeping the body balanced when it comes to upper, I'm looking at 4 different things. Your vertical pull. So vertical pulls are your lat pulls and your pull-ups. Vertical push is going to be any dumbbell overhead press, any barbell overhead press, or even a landmine press. I actually include dumbbell incline bench or incline bench as a vertical push because you're not going straight horizontal. And that way too, that helps out when you're trying to save the shoulders. Then bringing it down, horizontal pull, your dumbbell rows, your inverted rows, anything, bent over rows where you're down, hinging, and you're trying to pull that bar into your body. And then horizontal push, pretty simple, your bench presses and your push-ups. That's where you're gonna go there. Then on the lower half, you're gonna have your bilateral, so your squat movements, your deadlifts, your unilateral, any single leg movements, whether it's step ups, whether it's 1-foot box squats, rear foot elevated split squats, lunges, that's unilateral. And then hamstring work, whether you're glute hams, RDLs. So upper body, you wanna make sure that this ratio for pulls, you're gonna have 2 pulls for every 1 rep of push. And that's not always going to be easy. So there's different ways that I look at it of how to make sure you get enough pulls to counteract all those pushes. Same thing when it comes to lower body, you want to make sure that these 2 are connected. So you want to have a 1-to-1 ratio, or as close to it as you can. Again, you're trying to keep these as close as you can throughout the year of your quad dominant movements and your hamstring dominant movements. So how do you try to keep these as close to that as you can? And that's where these little guys come in. So scap work, got to make sure your shoulders stay healthy. How do you keep your shoulders healthy? Keep your scaps healthy. That helps pull those shoulders nice and back, and make sure that they're firing in the right spots. Glutes, activating those will help save your low back and your knees. 2 big areas that want to make sure you keep athletes healthy. And then core is just always there as long as you're doing everything properly with good technique. I call it sneaky core. You're always going to get core involved, but you can also make sure you activate it through farmer's carries, different types of pallet presses, trying to keep it up and stable and use there's different ways to hit that core. So now, Coach, how do we break this down and then put it into the program? So I started off a little bit of a program. Here is a little bit of what we do here. I'll break it up into 3 different spots. So I have my power movements. You always want to do your power movements first. Your body's fresh. You can get the most off of it. From there, then I can work to our strength movements and then auxiliary. If we have time, usually down here, there's gonna be a little more auxiliary or some type of circuit work. Make sure you get the body moving. So we'll go pretty much 10 to 12 minutes at each station and then rotate through. because of our system design. If when I was at the college level, again, it's different. I had smaller teams, so I could do a little bit more with it. But let's just break down this program design right now and then see, I left some spaces open. What do we need to continue to make sure that we keep the body balance with this program? So when I break it down, power movements, power clean, it could be technically a bilateral movement. The way I look at it is that's a power movement, and I really, personally, I don't mark it on there, but again, you could mark that as a bilateral movement. That's up to you. Going down that next bench. All right, boom. Bench, horizontal push movement. There's our first one there. Then we're gonna go to some type of unilateral lower body, just the way, again, the setup. You can go into a lunge, you can go into something else. It's just nice and simple because it's right there and you can keep stuff moving. So, now down in unilateral movement. Scap work, usually with bench. When you're trying to pull it down, you want to make sure the scaps are activated. A great way to make sure you're firing muscles to get the most off of. So if I can get these things firing more lights turn on, I get better off our bench. Scap work is usually going to be around a horizontal pull. Pull aparts, face pulls, you're down, and it's a horizontal pull motion. So that's where I'll usually count that. Then working on down, vertical pull. There's our lat pull or pull up. And some type of hamstring work. There's probably gonna be a 1 foot RDL, so get a little more upper hamstring, so boom, there's hamstring work. Then go to the next day. So next day our plyometrics, whether it is some type of med ball throw, med ball toss, plyos are jumping, we can either do hurdle hops or box jumps. We have different stuff that we do with our plyometrics, again, trying to make sure we're building the best athletes. So those, again, I don't count those in here. So working on down then. Squat. Squat's gonna be a bilateral movement. Glute work, knocking that out. Glute work, I actually won't count anywhere in here. You could maybe do a hamstring, but again, I'm just trying to make sure that if I can get more muscles firing in my glutes, whether it's some type of mini bend walk or glute bridge, something, so if I light more muscles up, my squat's gonna get better. Working on down, horizontal pull, there's our row motion. Boom, gotta make sure we count that. There's our horizontal pull and a vertical press. Some type of dumbbell overhead press or some type of pressing movement. So right now, after 2 days, we're doing all right on the upper body and everything's pretty much equal over here, so we gotta make sure you get some more hamstrings. Day 3 then, cleans, like I said, very similar to what we do there. It could be clean, it could be snatch. If you don't do Olympic lifts, it's just kind of what you do, whether it's with sleds, whether it's, whatever type of power movement it is. We just personally do cleans here. So next one, auxiliary bench. You're looking at a horizontal push, unilateral lower, some type of lunge movement, and a hamstring. I always gotta make sure you got that hamstring in there. All right, so now when I'm breaking this down, that was my, there's the basis, those were the big movements that I was looking for in the program. So I'm now gonna reference this chart to finish that program over there. So usually we'll go about 2 or 3 movements at each. We didn't do much core, and we had, 1 scap work in there. So now, if I'm gonna go over here, with my cleans, all right, for us personally, we're in a hallway. We have, our bars, we move bars and bumpers out there, but otherwise it's a hallway. So what we're gonna do, I usually do either some type of mobility work, or we can do some core in there. So say we're gonna throw some Swiss ball or med ball work, boom, there's some core. Working on down here, depending on the day, looking over here, we already did a horizontal push, got our hamstring, we're pretty good there. That's where usually, sometimes throw the kids a cookie, you can do your bis or tries. So bi, try work right in there. Again, depending on the time, I would switch that up, depending on what we have. Plyometrics here, I'm gonna kind of hold off. So we got squat, a glute. All right, what else can we do with that? I wanna make sure we get some type of pull in there. Vertical pull, we're gonna put a vertical pull over here. Easily could do a nice vertical pull over here, along with hamstring work. Hamstrings, I wanna make sure you get a set of hamstrings in. So I'm gonna add that up here. We can do a nice little towel, hamstring curl, Swiss ball hamstring curl. So I'm gonna throw in some hamstrings up here. Boom, now we're getting closer to a 1-to-1 ratio. We're a lot closer here than what we were. Still on the pulls. So we did a vertical pull, add that over here. So, total reps. Now, you're gonna start breaking down total reps. I'll start off here and then from there break down the total reps. But we're sitting all right there. Might have to throw another horizontal pull somewhere. So if we did a vertical pull here, horizontal pull here, On this day, we could throw in either a towel row here or, you know, some type of other, again, depending on your facility, let's throw in another, we can throw in a horizontal pull. Or another option you always have is we can get some more scap work in. So say if we did face pulls here on bench, on sneaky way, again, how do you get this number? How do you get 2 reps for every push when you're trying to do a lot of pushes? Glad you asked. That's where a face pull, we can do pull parts up here. You do pull parts, now that's gonna add to your horizontal pulls. So boom, pull parts up there, opens us up to something else. So these are just different ways that you can sneak in to get more of those pull motions. Hamstrings, again, you're trying to do the best you can to keep it as close to 1-to-1. That's where switchable hamstring curls, you can get those a little bit higher. We do a lot of glute hams. Sometimes, you know, it depends on how you break it down. Nordic hamstrings are those falling glute hams where you're actually holding it. Those are a little bit more intensive. So 1 rep might actually count as 2 reps when you're really breaking it down because of how it's activating the hamstring. But again, that's when you get a lot more deeper into it and making sure how to keep that body balanced. So breaking it back down, here is ultimately when you're trying to set up the program. Here is how I always break mine down right here. And you'll see it on sheets. Almost all my programs, you will see this box and this box to make sure that that body stays balanced. So as an athlete, when you're really breaking it down, your show muscles, the ones that look good on your front side, your go muscles that are gonna make you a better athlete, is on that back side. Your hamstrings, that back, it's gonna keep you more upright and make you a better athlete. So there's another reason why you want to make sure that upper body you have more 2 pulls in your hamstrings. You want to keep that balance. So that's kind of a big reason why, as an athlete, you want to be doing that. So again, this is how we, you know, this is me personally, how I've been breaking it down for our program. Every program is a little bit different, but just want to give you a little idea of how to design a program for a strength athlete, give you more information as compared to just doing your back and bis, chest and tris. So this is Coach Linz, and hope you're able to learn a little bit today from today's Behind the Program.